What's up, Boilermakers? Ian McDougall with Purdue Women's Basketball. Today, I'm joined by the head ball coach of the Boilermakers, entering her 15th season, head coach Coach Versyp. Coach, thanks for taking some time to talk to me today.
Thanks for being here, and I'm so glad I get to see your face. It's been a minute. It's been about 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
It's insane. First question I have for you, how have you been, obviously? How have you been holding up over the last month?
First and foremost, the priority is for everyone to be safe and healthy, across the globe and in our country. And, the biggest thing right now is, for myself and for everybody is to try to stay in a routine, try to be disciplined, try to actually get up, take a shower, maybe get some makeup on, maybe not, be in some sweats, but just in general, I think the mental health and the emotional health is really important. I think for me, I've eaten better than I've ever eaten. My nutrition, worked out a ton. Priority is family being healthy, us staying away, putting anybody in harm's way, but just really making sure our family, which is our student athletes, and their families, that they're healthy, and what can we do to help them mentally get through this uncertainty right now.
Have you had a recipe that you've tried out that or something new over the last few weeks?
Well, I've been doing a lot. I've been, cooking breakfast, which I usually never eat, but I've just been doing a variety of different things. I love to grill, love to cook, obviously. I'm not a baker, so now I can do a chocolate pie, the gelatin chocolate pie. So I've mastered that. I've done that a couple times. But just really trying to do a variety of different things. And then whatever's in my refrigerator at the time, once I've shopped for a couple weeks, been creative, a lot of stir fry, steak, salmon, fillets, omelets, all different types of things. But it's the first time I think I've probably been able to sit and reflect, because we all get so busy in our lives, and a lot of reflection on a lot of different things, obviously, and I think everybody's doing that.
Talking about reflection, one of the things that when I've caught up with some of the kids over the last few weeks, we talk about just kind of that when they canceled the NCAA tournament, and then Purdue made the wisest decision to say we're going to off-campus learning. We always talk about just how much you and the coaching staff really worked to make sure everyone got home. I know we talked about it a little bit in our Q&A a couple weeks ago, but just how big of an emphasis was it to you to make sure that not just the kids in the States, but the kids, the international students get back as well?
Well, I think it was paramount. When you go through something like this, you don't want to be by yourself. You don't, when you're a young individual, family is very important. And it's not like when they're here in college, especially with basketball being 2 seasons, they're not with their families very much. And we just don't know what's going to happen. And when it comes to the health of the United States and global, they need to be home with their families and, build on that love and that comfort, because that's the mental part that they're safe and they're in an environment that, is the only thing that's really familiar and really certain for them at that time. So we worked really hard to do that. And we watch them. We're on FaceTime. We're on Zoom. We're doing a lot of things. We miss them dearly. They miss us. We're that other family. And, we just tell them day by day, let's just take one day at a time, get through dead week, get through finals, and then the next step for us. But we just really cared about them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the holistic approach, really over these, 4 to 8 weeks until school's done, and, where we can start piecing some more information together.
Well, one of the things I've loved is when you tweeted out about how, you're doing Zoom calls with the kids and being able to interact constantly, not necessarily in that practice setting, but still being able to just get eyes on them and have them see you. It's something that I think really helps them, especially when I've talked to them. It's insane to think though that, where we're at right now, 9 months ago, we were on a plane down to Australia. Big change of direction here, but let's just go back to that. How much fun was that to really kickstart the 2019-20 season going down under?
Well, definitely. I mean, this is where you're ramping up. Everybody kind of go home, get their spend time in May, and then when you come back in June and July, you get your freshmen acclimated. We had everybody returning, so it was just fun because you know, it was a little different type of summer. And so, I guess these kids now, this is going to be another different type of summer because who knows if they're going to come back right now. So, um, but just being able to have a vision and have a charge that, hey, we're going to be playing games, and being able to break things down and still be really fundamental, but really being able to dive into those 10 practices and just again, you're just working on things differently than you normally would. And it was just an opportunity of a lifetime. I thought we gained a ton from it. I thought we were playing from Australia, playing fantastic basketball. And we're doing that all the way up to when Tam got hurt, second week of January when we were playing Rutgers, and then we had to revamp ourselves a little bit. But I thought that was a huge springboard for us to play exceptionally well. And I think we finished out the season exceptionally well. You can't be great all the time. That's what we all want to be. We all can have one national champion. But I just thought it really was great experience, and the team chemistry I thought was the big thing, and just understanding the culture of Purdue women's basketball.
And when I've talked to Leo and Cass and Jay over the last few weeks, they recall the fun times in Australia. Obviously, being on the court in practice was fun, but I think every single one of them talked about how diving the Great Barrier Reef was probably one of their favorite things. What was your favorite part of that trip?
Great Barrier Reef.
Easy.
Because we don't know if that's going to be extinct sometime soon. I have friends that traveled to Australia for business, and they've never even done the Great Barrier Reef.
Really?
So I would have to, that was just spectacular. And, we all talked about it. It was just spending, and it wasn't just the Great Barrier Reef. It was that whole day of we were just relaxing. We were just one family, there was no stress. We were hanging on the boat. We had amazing conversations. We were laughing, we were giggling, we were dancing. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful day, but it was so collective with all of us. And it just felt so good, like your heart and your gut, and it filled all of us up. So, and then just getting people out of their comfort zone. I think that was what we talked about. One, people being fear of water, but then one, it's an ocean. And then two, doing something you've never done. So I think that's what builds the trust. And it was just absolutely phenomenal the whole day from start to finish.
Well, and for how much energy our student athletes have all the time, I thought it was hilarious. Probably the last hour of the boat ride back, they were all just passed out on the deck. Some of them were tanning, but most of them were just zonked, just completely knocked out. Obviously, this year, getting through the year, we lose, going into next year, we lose two great parts in Ariana Harris and Dominique Oden. But how do you think Madison Layden and Rashea Kyle will come in and make an impact for us this upcoming season?
Well, I think anything, when you lose a couple seniors, you can never replace those seniors in every possible way. They've touched every senior touched your program differently, whether it's culture, leadership, work ethic, numbers that we talked about, statistical, but it's the intangibles that I think we're going to miss more than anything. And, we've got an experienced team now. We've been young for the last 3 years. So now it's go time. We got some experience, and, we have 5 sophomores and freshmen. So the maturity level, the experience level, the competitiveness, all of that should be instilled. So I think Madison and Rashea should adapt quicker because they have about 10 or 11 people they can look to see how it all works. And I think, Madison she's a unbelievably skilled, versatile player on both ends of the floor. So, she's going to have freedom to do a lot of different things just because of her skill set. There's no question. She's going to be a very dynamic and fun player to watch. And being able to, whether it's handling the ball, whether it's coming off screen, shooting the three, whether it's going to the rack, doing some alley-oops, doing a variety of things. She just brings a different skill set. And her length can cause problems on defense. But one of the best things is her three-point shooting, but she's a great, great passer. if she rebounds, we can get up the floor. And we haven't had someone like that for a long, long time. So real excited about Madison, obviously. And Rashay is uh, different, as in she loves being physical. She's 6'6". She's a shot blocker. She's a rebounder. She's a screener. So, we're talking about maybe, with Ariana leaving, she brings those qualities. Obviously, we've got to work a lot with her just being, 6'6" and coming into the college game. But I just like a kid that wants to be physical and bang on people. And that's what she brings. And, she can score down low. She can rebound. She can change people's shot. She kind of brought the ball up sometimes in her high school. Not that she's going to do that for us, but being able to ball handle and actually be a passer. She always passed from the high post a lot. And that's a gift. That's not something that a lot of post players can do. One thing that's going to be different for them, and I keep telling our upperclassmen, is like, when you came in, you knew you were coming in June. They might not have this summer. So,
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking about a lot is what does that look like? How can we help them? And that's why the Zoom and them talking, like you said, you're going to get more out of this than sometimes when you come back because you're busy and you're doing X, Y, and Z. You're going to learn a lot more in team chemistry and our goals and how people work. And that's what we talked about. We need to become a team and build the culture and do all the things right now, because when we come back, it could be August, could be September. We don't know. It's unknown. We need to have that all taken care of. And then the basketball and the conditioning and all that's together. So we've got to be a great team and cultivate that culture, bringing in the new kids.
Well, and there are two kids that really have not shied away from anything. Madison's was the first player in Indiana history to lead 3 Final Fours in scoring, and then Rashea basically broke every blocks and scoring record for Marion High School. So I know a lot of our fans are really excited to see them on the court with the weapons we have coming back. Even though you may not have that time on the court, we've had a little bit of time for more reflection, and you've done some amazing things in your career here at Purdue. Looking back on your time here as a coach, what's been a couple of your favorite moments that kind of stuck out to you?
I think a couple moments were our 2 Elite 8 runs. It was just those type of kids that would do anything for one another, play at the elite level. They just ran the show. They just cultivated. So the 2 elite runs, starting with Katie Gerald's when we first came in, and then the 4 Big Ten championships. I mean, there's nothing like it. And our run, I guess 3-4 years ago when we played Notre Dame on their floor with Ashley and Bridget being seniors, those are the biggest things. I mean, because they just get it and they just go, and you kind of just get out of the way because they know what to do, and that's what you want in a team. And both of those teams, when we went to Elite 8, they had great seniors, and it wasn't like 2 seniors. You had to have, there was like 4 or 5 seniors at that time. And that's when you're great, when you have those juniors and seniors that step up and there's no excuses and they just get it. But, I would have to say those, but, especially, last 4 years with Ashley and Bridget, because they're just hard-nosed kids and played so hard. And I thought they led us to greatness. So, I mean, there's a lot of good times, but, each team is different. But when the teams lead themselves and they take over and they manage themselves, those are the best teams.
And I'd be remiss not to ask your opinion on, you mentioned Notre Dame and it's a huge rivalry series, but, Coach McGraw retiring, kind of big impact. What do you have to say, or what would you have to say to her for just the impact she's had on the game?
I mean, I just got to thank Muffet for everything that she's done. I mean, when I, just growing up in Mishawaka, South Bend area, when she got the job, and then when all of a sudden it just started escalating, she does it right. She recruits great kids, great character, great academics. She, sells kind of the 3 A's. She's established. and then she kind of became that icon for women's basketball, a woman that does it all in the right way. And it's really not about her. It's about the students and the people around her. And that's what I thought she did really well. We've been in a lot of recruiting battles together. We've been into some clinics together. We've been in workshops together, and she just, she always knew who she was, and she wasn't going to make the adjustments to who she was and the type of young people that were going to come and play for her. And what I love most is she fought for women, and she was a huge advocate. These last 4 or 5 years just really spoke on everything about empowering women and inclusion and diversity and what we need to do. And, she really continued to pave the way, and we'll miss that. And I just want to thank her for all that she did for women's basketball in general, our college game, and wish her nothing but the best of luck. And she'll have a great retirement. She'll have her hands in something. She's great at what she does, whether she's consulting, whether she's staying in Notre Dame, just continuing. I mean, people are going to want to talk to her and bend her ear nonstop. And, she will be missed.
And she's an amazing advocate. You did mention Mishawaka, and obviously our fans know, but 1984, Indiana missed basketball. When you were going through your recruiting process, what led you to Purdue?
Well, it was mainly I grew up watching Notre Dame and Purdue and IU, the Bobby Knight, the Gene Katie, and the Digger Phelps. And I liked Notre Dame because I was close to Digger and Karen Phelps, and we're part of the AAU team. And I was very close. I always went to practices and did stuff when I was younger, and loved that atmosphere. And but I've always, I had college coaches back then. You could do anything, and they started recruiting me like when I was 7th or 8th grade. I came to their elite camp, and so my role models back then were those 3 men's coaches, which were absolutely phenomenal. And I kind of went through a lot. I could have played basketball a lot of different places. Louisiana Tech, who was number 1 at the time, with Sonia Hogue. I could have played volleyball at Texas, who was number 1 in the country. Arizona, Florida. There's a lot of different places, but it was about building relationships and the academic piece for me. And for some reason, I just wanted to go help build something. And really, Coach Jones and Coach Cross are the ones that kind of led me to Purdue. And I wanted to get away. I told Digger if I was playing for Digger, I might have went to Notre Dame, but I wasn't going to be playing for him. And I kind of wanted to get out of where I grew up, get away, even if it was 2 hours away. And I just remember I think I flew to Arizona, and I'm like, oh, this is great. This is cool. This is where I'm going to. I really loved it. The coach recruited me really well. I loved her. And then I flew back home. I'm like, I'm crazy. There's no way my family could be a part of this. There's no way I'm going to do this. So, it was just always, Purdue was always right there. And it was the people, the academics, building something, just wanted to help build a foundation. And I think our class really helped do that.
And during your college career, you made significant contributions. I think you ended up north of 13 points a game, shot north of 45% for your career. And up until this past year when Nick passed you, obviously you still rank in the top 15 in scoring in program history and a bunch of other career accolades. Obviously, as you help this program grow and build momentum into the 90s and start leading it to the program that it is today. What was your favorite moment or one of the biggest games that you remember from your time?
Oh, wow. I don't know, maybe when I had 12, I think I may have had 9 or 12 blocks one game. I'm only 5'7" or 5'8". I think that was it. But mind you, I love these, I'm top 15 in scoring. I scored like 1,565 points. And I only know that because I've done so many Zoom meetings recruiting. But we didn't have the 3-point line. So
right.
Just imagine. So when you say other people are surpassing me, we did not have the 3-point line. And we had a big ball that weighed like a rock. But I think it was just, I think probably it was just hard, but probably our senior year when we finally got to the WNIT championship game, And then we knew we helped build the program. We got to the WNIT championship game. And then the next year they went to the Sweet 16. So it was like kind of our senior year. They had a great freshman class, and we helped them kind of see and help build it. You know, it was me, Lisa Jana, and Krista LaCroix. We were kind of the first year that they had 15 full ride scholarships when we were first freshmen. So the people before us helped build the foundation. So I guess probably that part that we just really did. We felt like we did our part, even though we didn't go to the NCAA. We felt like we were a part of it.
I do have to ask. So a couple weeks ago, I posted a photo of you from your playing days.
Yeah.
Obviously, jerseys have changed immensely over the years.
Mm.
Sleeves or no sleeves? Which one do you prefer?
Sleeves. Short sleeves, short shorts, they're all coming back. The short shorts are coming back. And people wear sleeveless, and they wear long shirts anyway. So
I think the photo I posted was like you were left wing, and it's definitely 3-point range, but there wasn't a line down on the ground. So I completely spaced on that connection.
No, it's all about form. And if you're watching The Last Dance, it's all about the short shorts. You know, that's one thing I had in common with Michael Jordan.
Speaking of that, so you've watched the first few episodes of that. What obviously in the 90s growing up, what was, you know, getting to watch kind of that as you played, what are your thoughts on that so far?
You know, it was amazing. I was telling my neighbor this the other day. It was like when I was a Indiana Miss Basketball in 1984, Indiana All-Stars, we got to go and sit and watch the 1984 Olympic team at IU. Bobby Knight coaching, and we didn't think we could breathe. We were up there like, I don't think anybody breathes. But, I mean, that was like the dream team. And to just watch that as a young kid, a senior in high school, just was one of the most amazing things. And then obviously I went to playoff games. I'm from the region, kind of Mishawaka, South Bend, Chicago is far away. I went to playoff games. I was a big Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, the triangle offense, Dennis Rodman. So it was one of the best experiences. So I got to meet him one time, and you know, he's just this big giant, but he's just gentle too. And so, I mean, it was just amazing. But watching this, you know, we talk about it on our Zoom calls with our team, but it's just raw. It's real. And it's just so raw. And that's what I love. And his leadership and his competitiveness, you know, and we have a little bit of insight, but, you know, the people that we know, like Roy Williams, when he was coaching them, it's just like he never lost. Like when he competed in a sprint, he never lost. Like went on Nike trips, and you talk to Roy, you talk to all these others. Rebounding drill against Sam Perkins, never lost. Like, you know, people, I mean, he just didn't. And you saw the same thing. They're talking about, you know, they put him on a team where everybody would be winning, and then they put him on the second team, and he'd come back and win. He was just, and he wanted people that were winners, and he didn't care about anything else. We're just going to get this done. So, I mean, it's been incredible. I've really enjoyed it thus far.
That's awesome. Turning a little bit back towards Purdue. So since you have had that connection with the Boilermakers since, you know, the mid 80s, you've one of the few that probably have a real grasp on the full history of the program. Yeah. I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you who your favorite player is. And I'm not going to ask you who you think the best player is. Yeah. But who do you think is the most unheralded or somebody who made an impact on the program who probably hasn't had as much love as time's worn on?
Joy Holmes.
Why do you say that?
She, you know, when I was a senior, she was a freshman, and that was when kind of professional and some accolades and other things, you know, it was kind of during that era. But she's the one, when she was a freshman, I'm just like, this Joy is going to be an All-American. And she was silent, sweetness about her. We called her Venus Flytrap. Just because when the ball went, she just had, I mean, she just could get it like this flytrap, bam. I mean, the ball always came to her. We're like, how do you do that? But she rebounded out of her area. We weren't used to doing that a lot. and she could shoot it. She was smooth. She had a great way about her. She was a worker, best teammate ever. And she put us on the map. I mean, she, just those classes, but she was that freshman that just really did amazing things. And then the next class and the next class, I mean, they were just able to get some great, but Joy Holmes, I would have to say, just paramount, both ends of the floor, how she carried herself, the type of woman she was. Um, she's one of my favorite of all time.
Yeah, I I was texting Tim Newton. He never gave me his response yet, but I figured it was going to be Joy or Krista or someone around there.
Yeah.
Again, when you talked about your recruiting, you talked about academics, and that has not changed.
No.
Having strong academics, that has not changed in the Coach Versyp era. With almost after this year, it's definitely going to be at least 60 academic All Big Tens during your time here. How important is it to you to make sure that you have kids who are smart, who are able to handle the rigors, but also be great basketball players at the same time?
Yeah. I guess it was instilled when you came to Purdue degree, academics. And since I've been here, the standards have continued to go upward. So it has become tougher. And, when we talk about a lot of different things, I just talk about that I was an academic All-American, that I felt separated myself. People can play ball, but can they do it on both sides? And I think here at Purdue, and especially under, the leadership of myself, is I'm going to let you live your dream. We're going to allow you to be engineers and to be doctors and be psychologists and be pharmacists. Because now the facilities that we have, we can adjust practice to our players, and that doesn't happen everywhere. And I just think it's paramount, because if you're going to be happy and challenged off the court, you're going to do the same thing on the court. And, and then you're with, I guess, as I always say, we want different student athletes, but you're going to be pushed on both sides of the floor. But I just think women, my job and and this is a job of coaches before me. And when I came here, all my coaches wanted to break walls down and break barriers. And so that's my job, to help the next generation break down walls and barriers, that anything is possible. As a woman, you can be anything you want and be a champion and be an ambassador for this university.
Purdue has over 200 majors. In your time, did you ever have, like, either when you're recruiting a player or freshman or sophomore year when they declare, was there ever a time where a player came to you and said, I want to major in this, and you kind of sat there for a second and went, oh, never heard of that one before? Or just like, you knew it was going to be a lot of work, but obviously never going to, the support you guys provide is amazing.
Yeah, we don't scare anybody. They can try it, and they usually figure it out on their own. So, they're like, I have this dream. We're like, okay, it's going to be difficult. It's going to take this. And then if they can maneuver it, it's great. If they can't, then they're like, oh, this might not be what I'm capable of doing, or maybe this isn't what I thought it was going to be. So, we've had some kids maybe make some changes, because I wished I knew what I wanted to do when I came into college, which I didn't. I changed my major a couple times. But I mean, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a pharmacist, or if you want to be in nursing or a vet, animal science, I mean, there's some things that you have to know in certain areas of business, that you just got to know that you've got to do X, Y, and Z. But Purdue is so amazing, because they collaborate with all the colleges now, which is, such forward thinking. So, but no, usually we'll allow them to try anything, but usually, just like anything, they'll figure it out if it's for them or not.
Well, in like this year's roster alone, I mean, Neek in civil engineering, Asia just got into pharmacy. Cassidy, when I talked to her, I had to take a deep breath, because she's doing biochem, and she said she likes organic chemistry, which I've never heard before. It's, when I got here, obviously some of the best athletes I've ever dealt with, but when you go on the road and just see how academically focused they are as well, is something that's always been pretty inspiring to me. obviously off the court though, you also make a massive impact in
Mhm.
our local community. Just from your time with Hunger Hike and Hope on the Horizon and the Community Cancer Network and a million other things, how do you find time to volunteer and give back?
Everybody has time. And that's, someone obviously has done a lot for all of us to allow us to be where we're at. So, it's one of those that have a platform, love to do it. It's not work. It's something that I have a passion for. I serve people. I'm a giver. I'm not a taker. And if we can put a smile on someone's face, even that's why I got into teaching it. There can be 30 people in a classroom, but if I've touched one or two kids, then I've done something. Obviously I want to change the world and change all of them. It's not going to happen, but it's the same thing. If you can feed one more child, if you can give a homeless guy one more, with the soup kitchen, if you can help a cancer patient with the treatment, we've all lived our lives. We all have certain things, you have the Special Olympics, but it's just who I am. I think it's great. I think you need to pay it forward. I think when you give, you fill your heart up a lot more than when you receive. And that's what I like to do with our student athletes. And they actually love it. You talked about Australia. When I asked about what was one of their favorite things, they went to an underprivileged school. And we had so much fun, and we hung out, and we were able to give them pencils and do clinics. And that was one of our favorite things to do. And these are college kids, and they love that. Like, everybody thinks that they don't want to do it. If they're, I know their schedules are busy, but all of them are impacted, and they're going to come back and say, boy, man, like when we do the Community Cancer Network, I just love it because they all get dressed up and they all can help. They can give $10, they can give $20. They feel like they're a part of something, and that they're helping people. And, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's all of us growing as young people, growing as one, and making each other better, making the world better.
Well, and I was honored to be there the night that the YWCA of Greater Lafayette inducted you to their Hall of Fame for their Salute to Women. So I know it really inspires the kids, especially whenever they get to go to and take part in those events like the Hope on the Horizon. The Festival of Trees was an amazing night. Changing gears a little bit one more time. Obviously, basketball has been a huge part of your life, but if there was one sport that you wanted to coach or play that wasn't basketball, what would it have been?
Volleyball.
Okay.
Because I had to pick between volleyball or basketball. And even when I played here, I was done playing basketball at Purdue, and they asked me to play volleyball my 5th year. And I said, well, I would do it as long as I didn't have to do another preseason. That didn't work out. So, but in high school, I coached volleyball. I coached volleyball, basketball, and then was a softball coach. But volleyball and basketball were both my dreams, and I had a great time doing it. It was fun. We won a state championship in high school. Beat Muncie Burris, Dave Shondel's brother. He always teases me. He still can't handle that. They were like number 1 or 2 in the nation, and we beat them. But what was great is my volleyball team in high school became my basketball team, and we went to semi-state several years. We didn't get to state, but it was just that continuity of that winning mentality. But I enjoyed all of that. I would love to teach golf if I was good at it, but I'm okay at it.
Well, that's awesome. Coach, that's really all I've got. I really thank you for taking some time. I know it's a strange situation, but I know you and the rest of the coaching staff are always, are still pedaling and working hard, recruiting, making sure our student athletes are the best they can be.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. It was great. It was great seeing you.
Great seeing you too. Talk to you later.